Hi guys, what it is your girl Cadillac, and I am here because it is still March 24th. I am trying to do batch recording per my Sean Cannell courses. You see, I'm not able to bring you content as often. It's like 2 and 3 days lapsing before I bring something else. So I am trying to record as much as I can in my day off. I am headed to the chiropractor in just a few moments, so I don't have long. The reason for this video is to introduce to you guys the GoFundMe that I have created for Marcello for his legal defense. Please don't get scared because it's a GoFundMe video. You do not, I am not trying to pressure anybody into donating. I know that times are hard for everybody. You do not have to donate if you do not want to. But though times are hard, I know if I can get this story out, I am just asking for a $1 donation. Even if you only have $1, that is fine. Do you know if enough people with $1 donations come forth, it still can move this mountain? So I'm not coming asking you for, whatever you can do. And if you cannot do anything, if you're just willing to share this, not petition, I'm sorry. The last video was the petition video. Please check that out. If you didn't check it out, you can get more background on this story. Some of what I'm going to read in this is a little bit repetitive because I think I got the way to tell the story kind of down pat because, like I said, it's a lot of fluff and it gets long and it gets boring and I lose people's attention. So I've refined this story so many times to try to get it to be, as short and quickly and to the point as possible. So this GoFundMe video, $1 a share. Thank you. That's all I really need. And if enough people do that, then we can get to the goal. Somebody reached out to me and told me that I should look into this company that does help people in Marcello's situation. I don't have the funds now, so I was trying to raise the funds. And it did occur to me that as long as Marcello has been in prison, like I should have created this years upon years ago. And by this point, because the ball does move very slow, it moves so slow that it looks like it's not moving, but it is moving. It's just super slow. Just like a pot that's boiling and you're watching it, it's actually boiling. You just don't see it because it's taking so long to boil. So I should have started it back then and I wouldn't have seen it move, but eventually, it would have moved. So that's the same concept. But I didn't start it then, I'm starting it now. This is his GoFundMe. I created this banner because I had two different, it actually doesn't show his full banner. I got to go find that. I have it somewhere. It says 19 years, age progression at its worst. And there's a picture on the left of Marcello shortly after he entered DOC. And there is one to the right that is him very recently. He does have vitiligo. I know that's your first question. He developed vitiligo while he was incarcerated. So during times he does lose his pigmentation. When they let him go out and get in the sun, he gets some of it back. It fades in, it fades out. So, and he's kind of self-conscious about it. He's like, oh, he says when he worries, when he's worried about me, his spots, he always talks about his spots. My spots are getting bigger and my spots are multiplying because you're making me worry. Instead of like, gray hair, he says his spots multiply or get bigger or. But that is what that is. He has vitiligo. He is still very handsome, though, as you can see, still very handsome. but that's his age progression. You can see on the right, he's very baby faced, clean cut. He's still kind of clean cut, but not as much of a baby face. But he still does look good for his age. Going on 40, he doesn't even look 40. But yeah, so here is the banner. 19 years he has been in prison. Actually, it's coming up. I need to do that story time as well. He went the weekend before Easter. He went out and he bought Easter dress for my daughter. He purchased it. He on his own went and bought the Easter dress. And I still got that Easter dress somewhere. I want to, whenever I find it, it's a little cute little pink lacy like Easter dress. Whenever I find it, I'm gonna show it to you guys. I got it somewhere. But yeah, so he went out and bought her Easter dress, but he did not get to see her in it because before the weekend came again and Easter came, that was when trial came first, and he ended up going to prison. He lost his trial. 19 years. Okay, I'm going to read it. Hello, everyone. I created this GoFundMe to raise money for legal assistance for Marcello Jackson. Marcello Jackson was wrongfully convicted and excessively sentenced in the state of Florida in the year of 2002 for a crime that he did not commit. He was convicted without any tangible evidence, convicted of a robbery with a gun, but a gun in his case was never recovered. No fingerprints or any other tangible evidence linked him to this alleged crime. So he's convicted for having a non existent weapon. The weapon enhancement is why Marcello receives so much time. 6 charges and 40 years on 4 charges, and 30 years on 2 of those charges. All the charges ran concurrently. Marcello then was sentenced under Florida statute of 1020 life, which in 2016 was overturned by the Supreme Court, stating that the statute was unconstitutional. But being that the statute was unconstitutional, the judge over Marcello's trial sentenced him to 4 times that unconstitutional amount of time. That sounds very familiar because a lot of it was just rephrased from the petition. Marcello was ripped from his family, and for the last 19 years, I have raised our daughter alone by myself. Marcello and our now 19-year-old daughter have maintained our family ties through expensive travel and lodging to visitations all over the state of Florida, from way up in the panhandle on the Florida, Georgia, Alabama line down to almost being in Miami. Pricey phone calls and letters. Marcello now has missed everything in our daughter's life, from her first steps to prom and high school graduation, and soon, if nothing is done, we'll miss her college graduation next year. Crime or no crime, Marcello has done enough time. I like that. That should be some type of title. That stands out as a title. Crime or no crime, Marcello has done enough time for an alleged robbery where no one was shot, killed, or hurt. They don't have evidence, and when Marcello was arrested, he didn't even have the amount of money the alleged victims claim he robbed from them. Of them, I don't be reading. I just be putting what I want to put. Okay. He didn't even have the amount of money the alleged victims claim he robbed them of. Please help my family move on from this never-ending nightmare. I want to raise money to get assistance from a place called National Legal Professional Association. They help individuals like Marcello regain their freedom through post-conviction relief. We believe ineffective counsel is the reason that Marcello lost his initial trial. Marcello's public defender was actually working against him and not for him. The public defender claimed that he could not pull surveillance at the store that Marcello said he was at just prior to the alleged crime because he did not have enough money to do so. And the place that the alleged crime was said to be, there was no surveillance at this club and no other witnesses around, so Marcello was never able to prove his whereabouts during the alleged crime. You know what I want to plug in there too? The club that they said, so one day I want to go map this out. I'm either going to draw this or take pictures so you can see. So the vicinity of where Marcello walked down the street to the corner, where the 7-Eleven, the store was, that's the one that I tell you about in this other video. If you hadn't checked that one out, about I started talking about going to trial with Marcello. And that's the 7-Eleven where I seen that 1020 Life billboard. Like, they were advertising that thing. Just over the next block over on the main highway, that is where this club was. And the club was not just a club, it was a club and a hotel. And a lot of people frequented there. But the lawyer told us they didn't have surveillance. That does not make sense, how a club and a hotel has no surveillance and nobody was outside. Because it was a big club night, but nobody was outside. But even if nobody was at the club, by it being a hotel, it still should have been somebody somewhere around. That what they're doing to combat why Marcello can't get the surveillance pool does not make any sense. It really does not make sense. There had to be some type of surveillance. I just honestly cannot believe that. Most hotels have to have surveillance. And there was a security like booth there. So the security, nobody was around to witness nothing. But that works in their favor. Since nobody was around, nobody can say this didn't happen or it did happen. It's too coincidental. It doesn't make sense. There's too many questions. Okay, so to get back, I'm sorry for veering off. I just wanted to plug that in. The only thing the public defender did do was try to get Marcello to take a 17-year plea bargain. At the time that the alleged crime happened, Marcello was only 19 years old and had a 2-month-old baby girl just prior to this life-changing event. Marcello had no priors as well before this. So we are looking at a 19-year-old father that just had a daughter he was absolutely in awe of and taking care of. They were asking him to take a 17-year plea and get out of prison when his baby girl was 18 years old. Who in their right mind would do that? Marcello decided to take his case to trial, believing in the justice system and knowing they had no evidence against him. He, in his good faith, went through trial. Unbeknownst to this naive, then 20-year-old, he proceeded to trial with a public defender that did everything he could to get the alleged robbed victims to come to court to testify against his client. After Marcello was arrested on alleged robbery charges, the two victims refused to come to court. Instead, they moved to 2 different states outside of Florida, and when trial day for Marcello came around, they did not show up to court. Instead of the judge dropping all charges, he continued the trial. After sitting with Marcello all day at the courthouse and no one else showing up to trial but Marcello, we were informed by Marcello's public defender that the trial would be continued and that if no one showed up again, all charges against Marcello would be dropped. But that he, Marcello's own lawyer, was going to travel out of town to 2 different states to try to get the alleged victims to come to court. That is the biggest, there are so many other things, but that is ineffective counsel right there in itself. In itself, that is ineffective counsel the alleged victims to come to court. This second time, Marcello's public defender was successful at getting these alleged victims to court to testify against his own client, Marcello. The two guys' testimony under oath didn't even coincide with one another. And they also admitted on the witness stand to drinking the night in question and then quickly sobering up to ID Marcello Jackson. Please, I beg, and yes, I am begging to please help us move on from this nightmare and let Marcello salvage what is left of his life. Any donations would gladly be appreciated. Even $1 can help. If enough people only donate $1, we still can get him assistance. I also have created a petition as well to try to help get Marcello a new trial. He truly deserves it. You can check out his petition through this link below. Thank you all so very much. Sincerely, a wife's and a daughter's last desperate plea to get their husband and father home. Oh, I know y'all are so sick of hearing me talk about this. It actually, sometimes I get tired of talking about it. But I mean, if I don't, who else is going to? Who else is going to? So I keep pressing it. I find a different way. And I don't have any comments yet. But yeah, please check it out. That's all I could do is ask you, please. I can't make you do it, but you know, I just hope the one person that my words will touch to dig deeper and to come forth. I just hope one day I come across that person. I really do. I honestly, if I believe that Marcello was guilty, just like it was a comment that I read in the petition video, and I didn't even know this person signed it. Yes, I didn't know he signed it. But he talks about he personally knows me and he knows my character and that I was a caring person and honest person. And see, I can't relay that to you through this screen. You don't truly know Keita Dixon. But I am going to tell you that I am being as genuine as I can through the screen. I don't know if you think I'm putting on airs or what. I'm being me 100%. My goofy, crazy, eccentric, weird, whatever you want to call me. I know that that is me and I'm trying to relay that. But I, above all that, am honest, trustworthy. I have a good character. I am a good judge of character. And if any way I believe Marcello did this crime, I'm still going to love him. But I wouldn't have devoted my full half of my life to fighting for him because in that case, he would have had to, just weather his consequences. But even in this case, if he did it, they sentenced him to too much. So we'll say that if he did it and they sentenced him appropriately, I would have sat down and just accepted that because that would have been justice served. But that is not what happened. I, in my heart of heart, feel that Marcello is wrongfully convicted. Like railroaded every way that you can think of being railroaded. Not getting the fair trial, not getting the fair representation. Then once losing trial, I sat on a Zoom with a senator and it was something very like he said something that I have never heard. He said that when a person went to trial, that he still, if they lost the trial, gave them what he offered them before trial as the plea. He didn't press for, he was a state attorney. He didn't press for more time because the person lost. Because he said, I never like just as guilty as I may have thought you were before, I feel the same way. I didn't ask you to do anything but prove what you're saying. You say you're innocent, prove you're innocent. That's all I asked you. So why should I give you more time if you lose? And I've never heard that. I didn't know that that goes back to the state attorney being able to. And he's like, that's equivalent to you losing and me just saying, yeah, I'm sticking it to you because you lost and you made me fight. And like, that does bring up question marks. Why do they do that? When you lose trial, why do they go to doubling or why? I don't understand that, but that's what happened. I believe the excessive of the sentencing actually came about because trials cost money. And if because you pushed it to that point, that's how a lot of people see that, hey, if you lose, you finna pay up the yin yang for making us even do this. But this is supposed to be our right to go to trial. Like, this is not us asking for a luxury vacation. This is something that's supposed to be afforded to us already by being citizens. This is to ensure that these wrongful convictions do not happen, that we try cases completely fairly, because you do have a life hanging in the balance. And if 17 years was sufficient before trial, why did they go all out the box past 17 years? That is a question. But I'm still going to maintain that I believe he's innocent. But even if he wasn't innocent, they gave him too much time. Too much time. And if he is innocent, how do people sit well with knowing that an innocent person is in prison for that long? What if you were in prison innocently for that long? Not 3 years, not 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, not 20 years, not 30 years, 40 years. How would you feel? You would be pleading for anybody to help you. I would have went crazy by now, but this man is completely sane and he is completely faithful and thinking that he is going to get out. It is just a matter of time. So I ask you once again before I close out to please check out the GoFundMe, the petition, any other videos. Please let me know if anything that I have been giving you lately is helping you, because more than this helping me, I want to help others. So please let me know if any of my stories are resonating with you, if they're helping you get through any of your storms, if they're making you laugh because I am crazy and weird, or if you like my artwork. Just give me some type of feedback so I can know if you're not feeling this, I can switch it up. I can, you know what I mean? So that it won't be feeling like this is in vain. Because that's the one fear I have, that my life will be in vain. And that is definitely not what I want. Thank you guys. Thanks for riding with your girl. I am finna be late for this chiropractor appointment, but he already know that every time I come there, I come in there flying through the parking lot, running up the stairs, running to the elevator, and barely getting in there on time. Guys, y'all know that's how your girl ride. Anyways, it's your girl Cadillac. It's your girl Cadillac.